That service from All Souls Church, Langham Place, here in London, was conducted by the Reverend Michael Bourne. The director of music was Noel Trizic. This is London, and now we wait the chimes of Big Ben for midnight Greenwich Mean Time to ring out the old year and bring in the new. It's midnight 01 Greenwich Mean Time. BBC World Service. The news, read by Roger Collins. China is to stop bombarding Taiwan's offshore islands and is offering reunification without conditions. Israel says it's ready to continue peace talks with Egypt, and the Egyptians have given a cautious welcome to the decision. More than 60 people are said to have been killed in riots in northeastern Iran. Blizzards are causing widespread disruption in northern Europe.
BBC Radio News at 9 o'clock.
Church leaders have joined the race debate, using their Christmas messages to call for tolerance and understanding. The Catholic Church is warning that despite decades of work, Australia's multicultural unity remains fragile.
Catholic Cardinal Edward Clancy says the birth of Jesus Christ was an offering of salvation and unity,
thereby making all peoples one sole family under one Heavenly Father. This irrespective of race, colour or culture.
He says Australia should be proud of its multiculturalism, but Christmas cautions us that much remains to be done. What has been achieved remains fragile.
Our Aboriginal brothers and sisters are still grossly disadvantaged. East Timorese and other refugees are denied elementary compassion, and ill-conceived controversy threatens the stability of our multicultural family.
The warning came as Christians around Australia flocked to churches for traditional midnight services. The celebration of the birth of Christ made even more special for parishioners of St Patrick's Cathedral. Mass in the ruins gave them the first chance to pray in their church since it was destroyed by fire 10 months ago. Uniting churchgoers also turned out in strength, leaders stressing the difference between the commercialism and the real meaning of Christmas.
Christmas means the coming of a loving God into our lives personally, and that's good news.
Religious leaders say large congregations are proof of the continuing significance of Christmas to most Australians, and that commercialism has not swamped family and religious significance.
Love is measured by what it is prepared to give. And God lavished his love on us when he gave us Jesus.
Tim Mitchell, 10 News.
And from the Queen this Christmas, a call for spiritual renewal. At the end of another troubled year for the royal family, the Queen reinforced the need for strong family values and faith in the underlying message of Christianity.
Spending the traditional holiday at Sandringham, the Queen's message offered Christian comfort to those who'd suffered during the year and focused on the spirituality of the season.
Christmas is the celebration of the birth of the founder of the Christian faith, an event which took place almost 2,000 years ago. Every year at this time, we are asked to look back at that extraordinary story and remind ourselves of the message which inspired Christ's followers then and which is just as relevant today.
In a year which saw continuing problems for the royal family, the Queen urged families around the world to face the future with courage and faith.
Each year brings its share of difficulties for many families. This year has, I know, been no exception. And during it, some have suffered bereavement of a tragic and shocking kind.
The Queen singled out South African President Nelson Mandela in a year of international goodwill missions.
That most gracious of men has shown us all how to accept the facts of the past without bitterness, how to see new opportunities as more important than old disputes, and how to look forward with courage and optimism. His example is a continuing inspiration to the whole Commonwealth and to all those everywhere who work for peace and reconciliation.
The Queen called for faith and optimism in looking to the new year.
If only we can let him recapture for us that time when we face the future with childhood's unbounded faith. Armed with that faith, the new year, with all its challenges and chances, should hold no terrors for us, and we should be able to embark upon it undaunted. My family joins me in wishing each one of you a very happy Christmas.
Andrew Kirk, 10 News.
There were plenty of Santa surprises and Christmas cheer for people doing it tough during the festive season. Religious leaders urged all Australians to spare a thought for people in need.
The spirit of Christmas shines brightest where it's most appreciated. For Australia's sick kiddies, Santa was kept busy making his usual Christmas Day visit to children's hospitals.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, Christopher!
There was the usual fire brigade escort in Melbourne and a few carols from the Fireys band. Then a quick sleigh ride to the west coast and more treats from Santa's sack.
You give me a big hug.
You going to give me a big hug?
The nation's biggest Christmas lunch at the Wayside Chapel in Sydney's King's Cross proved loneliness isn't compulsory on Christmas Day. 4,000 people gathered for the annual festive meal, the elves bringing presents on their Harley-Davidsons.
We've been here several times. You can't beat it. It is top.
Nice people, terrific time, good music.
Sadly, Christmas isn't a time of celebration for everyone. Hundreds of Australians making calls to telephone counselling services on one of their busiest days of the year. Religious leaders reminding us to spare a thought for those who've lost loved ones this year, for whom Christmas rekindles sorrow and loneliness.
Heaviness may endure for a night, but as the psalmist says, joy comes in the morning, and predominantly Christmas is a festival of joy.